What's going on, guys? Celebrities are going broke, apparently. The downfall of the music industry again, right? I saw this and I was like, all right, I want to check this out. This is YT Wake 'em Up. Found this video. Celebrities are going broke. The downfall of the music industry. Definitely check this cat out. We're going to get into this video, see what he's talking about. It's a longish video, so let's just jump into it and see what he's talking about. Let's do it. Bam.
This is about to be a good one right here. For me personally, this is something that I got firsthand experience with. This is the music industry. I made music growing up. I had record deals being offered to me the whole nine, right? And I'm gonna break that down more towards the end of the video. But listen, celebrities are going broke. The music industry is at its decline right now. This is the downfall of the music industry. A signed artist only get 12 to 18%.
Hang on, aren't like record labels doing better than ever, right? Isn't that accurate? I thought that was accurate. Artists, that's a different story. That may be what he's talking about. Let's keep going.
Percent of their royalties. Everything else go to the label. And most of the times they don't even recoup. They actually spend more than they made off of the album to create the album. I just need everybody to thumbs up this video. That's all I'm asking you to do so that YouTube can push this content out. I need everybody that's not subscribed to go ahead and smash that subscribe button for more of these amazing videos to pop up in your subscription box, and ring the bell for post notifications so you can be notified exactly when I post. Throughout this whole video, you're gonna see a lot of familiar faces. We know from generation to generation, a lot of artists have been scammed. They got bad record deals and they ended up broke. We can go anywhere from MC Hammer down to TLC, down to even R. Kelly.
I wrote a record for Usher. The song came out. Let's say at the time the song streamed 70 million streams. If I own 20% of the song or 25% of the song, and it did 70 million streams, and it's $3,000 per million stream. So it's 3,000 times 70. Right.
Yeah, but
so 210,000. Spotify collects the streams.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
And then they pay the publishers.
Not exactly.
There's a fixed percentage on the publishing side.
Yeah.
Based on the relationship between Spotify and the music publishers.
Yeah, there's
so
other
that $210,000 that song made had to be bust down.
Right.
My take on that 210, my take home was probably $1,500. and I went, this is how the math worked. It was this simple. Look, it was this simple. If I'd have put that song out myself, and only had 3 million streams, I'd have made $10,000.
Yeah.
So I stopped giving records to artists. I'm like, I could give you this record and you could fail, and I can get a percentage of your failure, or I could take 100% of my failure, and I could take that to the bank.
Right.
What was the biggest shock for either of you guys when you got to the industry?
Half the industry is broke.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, you know, I wrote for Earth, Wind, and Fire, right, and produced and all that kind of thing. It's like I could have put those songs out myself. I mean, I guess technically could just cover myself. You know what I mean? But it's not the same as releasing with Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's just not. It's not the same. I also wrote those songs specifically for them, but I mean, regardless, in that way, it's not the same because you have that name and that brand behind it. It's totally not the same. It would do nothing if I just put it out. It would do nothing, right?
And that shocked me.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Celebrities, I would be around celebrities, rappers, no offense, but a bunch of them that's like wearing all the big jewelry or on Instagram, it's all a facade. And that's when it was like, for me, I was like, wow, okay, I can breathe.
Yeah.
Because I don't need to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
Because y'all ain't even keeping up with the Joneses yourself.
It's rentals.
It's rentals.
It's rentals. It's like Miami. Whenever they rent the cars and drive around or whatever, and then like return them.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Lambos?
Yeah, it's all the Lambos, yeah.
Or even with jewelry. I think I didn't realize a lot of that was that like, oh, they buy these pieces to wear in a music video or at a carpet, and then they take them back to the jeweler. These are like their actual pieces when it comes to rap and hip hop culture.
That's very true. Because even when I worked in hip hop, it was interesting just to see and hear stuff. Like, and again, not trying to put anybody on blast or whatever. I could name people if you wanted me to, but correct. Like, you never know. But that's the thing is, like, at the end of the day, you do not know. And that's why you cannot look at somebody and be envious over any of this.
So let me just tell you something. A record deal is nothing more.
I mean, those aren't the only reasons. This is all, you know, not the Bible stuff, but this is all in the Bible, right? You know, like those kind of basic principles, right? That's all just like some church shit, right? So, anyways, not that I'm not holier than thou in any way, shape, or form at all. I'm a total degenerate in my own right. So, anyways, but you know what I mean? Those principles. I went to Catholic school, right? You get it, like those principles, right? You shouldn't want what somebody else has because that's not for you. It's for them. You are going to have your own, right? People don't believe that. They see something they want, right? I want that. I want that. It's like that may not be for you. Anyways.
Or then a line of credit. There's nothing more than a line of credit. You can go get one yourself. People think when they make it to the label status, when they get signed, that they made it to the big leagues. For a musician, going and getting signed is like going to the NBA or the NFL or the MLB or the NHL. It's like going pro. But these days with the internet, you can reach the whole world. The internet is bigger than radio. The internet is bigger than a record label.
Oh, yeah.
And in actuality, you still got to put the work in after you get signed, like an unsigned artist. The only difference is you have a team. But you won't be top priority unless you're one of their top streaming artists, unless you a Beyonce, unless you a Rihanna, unless you a Chris Brown or something. You see what I'm saying? That's when you're a top priority. Other than that, you still got to build it up from the ground up. The only thing that you really should be doing is running YouTube ads. I've been telling people this for 10 years now. The labels are doing the same thing. They're running YouTube ads, in-stream ads, you know, the little ads that pop up in the corner when you search somebody else. You might search one artist and another artist pop up. They're running ads. What they're doing is growth hacking, stealing somebody else's fan base. It don't take much to really go viral these days. We seen artists go viral on their own, then they sign a deal, and they never really make no real money. And these days, first week sales are down. Selling 30,000 copies is the new equivalent to selling 1 million first week, like when Lil Wayne did it. 30K is considered good now. That's really terrible. And then we're seeing a lot of people can't even sell out tours or shows no more.
Right.
So they just got hype, but they don't got a real fan base.
That's been happening.
The
That's
music
pretty wild.
There's only a few.
That's not the only reason. Also, these ticket prices. I'm sorry. I used to go to concerts and shows all the time, specifically when I lived in Boston. All the time. Even when I lived in LA. I used to go to shows whenever I could. It became more difficult because when I'm working, you know, when I'm gigging over the weekend. You know, for the most part, I always have Fridays, Saturdays, at least, never off, right? Never. And winter shows, often on weekends. So it would always kind of depend. That made it more difficult. But I used to always go to shows as much as I could, specifically when I was in Boston. And as a college student, I could afford to go to them. And now as an adult, like as a grown person with you know, some money, it's like, yo, this is nuts. This ticket price is crazy. Who the hell is paying for this? I can't think of many shows. It's maybe a handful of shows, if that I've paid over $100 for a ticket. I did for Dead and Company several years ago because I felt like I wanted to, but that was literally it. Everybody else, I'm just like, yo, no, there's nobody that I want to see that bad, like that badly, where I'm like, okay, here's $250 for 2 tickets, or probably potentially more because of all the fees. $300, let's say, for 2 tickets. Well, I'd rather spend the $300 on whatever else, groceries, it doesn't even pay my monthly groceries. That doesn't even pay my monthly automobile gas bill, right? It doesn't pay, you know? Well, I'd rather go to this concert for one night for a couple hours. And it's just like, no, I got other things I got to pay for. You know, these tickets should be like $50, $75 max. It's crazy. Anyways.
Artists in the game that really make money. So everything you seeing ain't real. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time somebody's put me on game when it comes to the entertainment business.
You know, I wrote raps, I wrote verses, I wrote songs for over a decade and had never earned a penny. And of course,
how long you wrote for?
Over a decade.
So today, Ray Daniels tweeted that about 50 artists and label execs were laid off from Atlantic Records. And I can't even lie, I kind of saw this coming. Now, I'm only speaking from the artist perspective when I say that artists gotta stop chasing record deals. It is no longer valuable. And it's especially no longer valuable when you have tools like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, social media. As an artist, if you're using these platforms to produce content rather than consume it, you can build your own brand. We are in an age where the labels are gonna have to come to you. We don't live in an age where you make demo tapes and send them off and go to talent shows anymore. That's the 90s, my boy. This the new age. Also understand that you're competing with people like Casanat, Drewskis, the Speeds. These are the people that can command attention. The streamers are the new movie stars. So the best thing the artist can do is become your own brand. So coming out and just pushing your music, yeah, that's fine. You know, and it really only works if you're super, super, super talented or if you have a super huge team behind you. But if you don't, the internet is your best friend.
Yo, so listen, we know it's a lot of layoffs going on all across the job market, but I never seen in the history of my existence a label drop so many different artists at one time. 50 different artists? That's a lot of artists. That's a lot of losses that they're taking. On paper, I don't know how they do nowadays. You know, I don't. But you could go on some of these label websites and look at their artist roster, and you're not going to have heard of the majority of them. Like the majority of them. Because they just sign people and not even specifically shelf them, but almost. So there's that. There just always has been a lot of that where they just like have these people on their rosters and you're just like, who are these people? I've never heard of these people. And you go on their social media and you're just like, they don't even have a lot going on. Like, I don't even get it. I don't get it. Anyways. Taking L's, right? Of course, they're going to get their money back. That's going to be written off as a loss when it's time to do taxes. But they really got to clean up shop for real. They got to clean house. They got to start fresh. The music industry going to have to go back to some form of selling physical copies, right? They got these USB business cards. And I shouldn't even put y'all hip on game because that's something I'm going to do. But they got these USB business cards that you can plug right into the car or plug right into your computer. It's like a new version of a cassette tape. But yes, that is true. Most musicians really don't got money. They saying half of them broke. It's just a facade. They do everything for image. This is what happens. The label owns you. When they sign you, they give you an advance. Most people get an advance and they never get another check again. So say you get signed for $2 million. They might give you $100,000 as an advance. But if you pay attention, most of these artists are signed for the rest of their life. They can renegotiate terms and get another advance, but they're staying in the hole. They never really getting out, and they never really getting paid off of their streaming. And most people don't own their masters. How does that sound? That's like modern day slavery for real. You don't own your masters. Someone else is your master. Who is your master? That record label is their master. So when they sign these deals, they get a little money up front. Most times they spend that right away. Then they back broke. They might give them cars, they might give them jewelry, but they have to pay that back tenfold. So it look good on the outside, but they're really just in debt to the debtor, which is the record label.
If you're not getting it touring, or if you're not getting it through other means, this music shit is a wrap. I'm saying all of the musicians are broke. Relative to what you bring in.
Now, I do think that there is plenty of ways to make money as independents. Low overhead. It's not expensive to make these albums. You're making them at home or wherever, and you're building a reasonable fan base, and you're selling physical and merch. Not everyone is broke, but in terms of like the superstar thing, I agree with you.
But like you said, so what you're bringing in, what you getting,
and my conversation now is not really about. It's not really about independent acts.
Yeah, okay.
My conversation is about what's going on in the majors. They tricking y'all with the words in these contracts. They tricking y'all into thinking that y'all are real partners. They tricking y'all with the, hey, you own your stuff. The recent layoffs tell me that. You don't see all these people getting laid off?
They laid off like 40%, everywhere, right?
Universal. Everywhere.
Media too.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And look, and to me, based on what you're saying, that went to our AR conversation. The second that we can have 6 people instead of 60, Y'all gone.
Yeah.
So this is definitely not a drill. Atlantic/Warner is planning to fire and let go over 100 people. I'm sorry, 150. Actually, 170. And not only is this super unfortunate for the employees that are affected, I do see optimism for them, but I also want to share my small, itsy-bitsy critique or commentary, if you will. I don't want anybody coming after me. But basically, the company is restructuring, and so many people...
Nobody wants anybody coming after them. If you want to be anybody, you need people coming after you. That's what I've learned. If you want to be anybody, I want more haters. More. Bring them. Bring more haters, because that means that I'm higher up. That's how it works. That's how it works, right? And yes, this whole cycle, I don't know where she's going with this. I haven't seen the video before, but companies do this. And also, depending on where we are in the economic cycle, we've been in such a facade of an economic cycle where it's like, hey, everything's really good. We're doing really well. But then you look at numbers, or you look at fudged numbers, right? Manipulated numbers, and it's showing something different, or it's trying to show that we're doing really well. But then all these job numbers that have come out, months later, they turn around and they revise them lower. And it's like, yo, we're not really, everybody can feel it. Everyone can feel that it's a lie. Maybe not everybody, because somebody's doing well, right? It's not all the time that everybody is doing well or everybody's doing badly or whatever. There's always this kind of thing, but depending on where you are, there's more people that feel this way and more people that feel this way. And I'm like, right now, we've been in this period where more people are feeling like, yo, where's all my money going? I'm not making enough money. It's going to these bills that got higher, like all of them, like all the bills, all of the regular expenditures that I've been having, food, gas, other bills, insurance, stuff like that. They're all higher. Housing, etc. That's not us doing better. The wages aren't, all that kind of thing. It's all that. Anyways, so all these companies, it's the same thing with these companies. They need to restructure. They need to figure out how to get fitter in order to survive the lean times. This is what you would call lean times, right? Anyways.
They're going to be affected by this restructuring. We kind of already knew this in the beginning of this year when Universal did their mass layoffs, when all the other tech companies did their mass layoffs. But what I find really interesting, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard this morning that they are restructuring Atlantic into like a distribution company, which in theory, I guess it makes sense. But if they honestly think that's the model that's going to make them financially sustainable, they're inaccurate and wrong. My humble opinion. Now, for the artists and young executives that are affected, although it fucking sucks to get fired or lose a team member, please use this as fuel. Sure, you could work at another label, sure. But use the internet to your advantage and build your own shit.
It was a time where I thought that everybody had money except me. I would see motherfuckers do these music video shoots and motherfuckers got chains and cars and all type of shit. And I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment with 4 motherfuckers. So there was a time where I was really thinking, bro, why do everybody got money and I don't got no money? Is it because I'm independent? The truth is, everybody didn't have no money. But, they don't tell you that because the label job is to make it look like you got some money. We'll give you the car, we gonna give you the...
And also, you're young. When you're young, you don't know. Even if somebody tells you. It's almost like, that's the problem with being young, is that like someone could tell you, but you have to see it with your own eyes in order to like believe it.
The cosigns, we're gonna put you in the studio with this motherfucker. We're gonna have cameras following you around everywhere you go. I was thinking like, damn, everybody getting money but me. But nah, everybody looked like they got money except me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I got caught up in the layoffs, but it was more of a layup than a layoff for me.
Okay.
Because I knew this was coming.
For you, or you knew it was coming, period?
Both. I knew it was coming for me. Last year around this time, I was having issues with my contract. And that's when I was like, something's wrong.
Yep.
And I was like, let me start setting up my plan A. I've always had a plan A if I had a job. And the plan A was whatever I was hustling for, you know what I'm saying? So if I had a job, if I was a custodian, I was doing something else on the side, you feel me?
Yeah, for sure.
So it was never one thing that I had all my irons in, you know what I'm saying? So with the music business, it was no different. I have never done every single thing the right way the first time. I'm not perfect or none of that. I've had some ups and downs, but I've had more victories than losses.
Google fired its entire U2 music team while the employees were in the middle of testifying before the Austin City Council. A group of less than 50 employees were testifying about their unionization efforts when they were informed of their sudden termination.
They just laid us all off.
Oh.
Yeah, they just laid us all off.
We just all
Our jobs are ended today, effective immediately.
Last year, the U2 music team voted to use...
Because you were trying to unionize, and that's not a good idea. Sorry. That's my unions. I never joined the music union, the musicians union. I asked every single teacher after college when I finished, should I join the musicians union? Every single one of them. No. Not unless you get a union job. Then you join the union. You go out the very next day. The second you get that union job, you join the union. But if you don't get a union job, you don't join the union. There's no benefits to you.
Unionize under the Alphabet Workers Union, seeking better pay, benefits, and a flexible return to office policy. However, Google refused to negotiate, arguing that because the employees are contractors, their contractor Cognizant is responsible for bargaining. But the National Labor Relations Board ruled that
you're not bargaining for you. The union is bargaining for you. How is that any different? It's just no. I'm not sold on unions. I'm just not.
Google and Cognizant are joint employers of the U2 music team, and the NLRB said that Google's refusal to bargain with the U2 music workers is illegal. Still, in a statement to Fortune, a spokesperson for Google claims the Austin-based workers are not Google employees, saying Cognizant is responsible for them. Google also denied that it fired the workers, saying this was a routine end of contract that was agreed on with Cognizant. But the workers say the termination was a surprise, and many feel as if they could lose their homes due to the sudden and unexpected layoff.
Even YouTube, music doing layoffs. Spotify had the layoff.
Yeah, everybody.
Pretty much everything revolving around the music industry is looking bad. It's looking
everybody
steep.
right now.
And I'm gonna just say a lot of these rappers,
everybody right now,
they was looking like they was balling. But when I see, if you pay attention, people not rocking those big old chains no more. Now they rocking beads. Now they rocking those little tiny chains. People had to pawn their jewelry. We seen the musicians try to get into e-commerce. We seen them try to come up with their own clothing brands. We seen them try to diversify. They're trying to get into different business endeavors. And for the stupid ones like Fetty Wap and Pee Wee Longway, we seen them go back to the trap. We seen them catch years. Pee Wee just got caught with like over $200 million worth of drugs. He done. He about to do life. I ain't gonna hold you. He done. What they got caught with, it's over. We seeing rappers like Lil Baby, T.I., 2 Chainz and them trying to open restaurant. And that's just to name a few. It's a lot more. That tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, you have to. Look at all these other big... Look at Shaq, right? Magic Johnson, right? You have to build... You take your money and then you put it into other assets. If you get money, you have to do that. You have to do that. You can't. Even people with regular jobs, okay? Nobody is safe. Anybody can lose their job. So when you have money, if you get money, you need to diversify, right? You need to put your money into other assets. Buy a rental house. Put your money in the stock market, et cetera, et cetera. Buy a business. Own a business. Start another business. Right? There's only a few ways people get rich, right? They inherit it. That's not many people. In the grand scheme of things, that's not many people. Inherit it. They start a business, investing, real estate, stock market. What else? They have a business, like things like that. That's it. All of this information is out there, right? Anyways, you must take your money. If you do well in one business, you need to take that money and start buying rentals. Or you need to take that money and put it in the stock market and diversify that way. You have to, or both. Obviously everybody's situation is different, but you must do that because you cannot rely on a job. You can't rely on a job. That's not yours. It's somebody else's. You work for them. You're building their thing, right?
Really starting to think that the music industry and the celebs that are in it have been fooling us all this time. I do not think any of them have money at all. I mean, cash poor type shit. And there's a good reason for that. People like Gucci and Christian Dior and Louis Vuitton, they are the Rolex and the Bentleys of the fashion industry. So they do not need
your
a
batteries
celebrity
in your,
to showcase their latest design to sell it. They don't. So when you see these rappers and singers and stuff in the music industry showing their clothes and their houses and all that stuff, I really think they're getting all that stuff on credit. In the music industry, it's like, you work for me, we give you all these gifts. Why do you think so many people are in some real fucked up contracts right now? And also, in our community, we always talk about if we had millions of dollars, how we would buy up the block, how we would help our people and stuff. And you don't see them doing that. And people think it's because they're selfish. No, I think it's because they are cash poor and they really cannot help you. It brings me to this. The music industry is very successful in creating images into demeaning us in every single way, and they profit and make lots of money off of that, and we buy into that every time we support them. To us, it's just entertainment, but it really is a real life plan. Now, why would little old me feel this way? Because none of it makes sense. I'm telling you, they are a walking billboard for companies to get black dollars. And why? Because nobody in the entire world spends like black people. No matter how broke we are, no matter if the rent needs to get paid, nothing matters when it comes to us getting them dollars to look good and to look like we also have the celebrity lifestyle. Like, it's all a plan, all of it. It's so you can be broke so they can get the cash from you that they're not getting. Now, I know that may sound crazy, but I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, something just is not right here. And then when you think of C-list and D-list rappers and stuff like that, it's not that their music is trash. They try to make it seem like, oh, they just aren't relevant anymore. No, the talent is still there and always have been. The problem is if a brand isn't able to use them to further push whatever agenda they got going on, none of us black folks is going to want to buy into whatever that rapper or whoever, whatever they're selling. If they cannot use you, they don't want you. And I think that time tells us, even with the government, if they cannot use you, you do not have nothing to give them at all. You serve them no purpose. So once again, these companies are the Bentley and Rolexes of the entertainment world and the fashion world and all of the government. They do not need no advertisement. So all this false narrative of, oh, they're just advertising this and they give celebrities free stuff here and now, they know they're giving them fucking free shit all the time because they're not actually physically paying them with cash. They're getting our black dollars. Let that sit. The music industry and celebs and designer brands are in cahoots with each other to make it look like they're getting money to buy those expensive things, but it's really just a marketing plan to take our money. Nobody spend money like black people. Peace.
But I'm out of the music industry because ain't no money in the music industry.
Master P, this guy.
And I know people might get mad
legit.
and trip, but I'm just saying, y'all know it's a lot of things that we used to do. It ain't no money, and you know it done tapped out. They trying to figure out how to make money off of streams. When Snoop put a post up, said, man, I sold 1 billion streams. I only made this little money. Where the millions at?
It's because of his contract. Because of his contract. I mean, I remember when that came out. Yeah, it's because of his contract, right? Because he signed that part away. He doesn't own that part, right?
We knew where our money from because we had tangible goods. And that's why I got into the product game. We could actually have tangible goods. I told people all the time, product outweighs talent. Product gonna be around when we not here. Michael Jordan is still successful because of the shoes, not because him shooting balls into the hoop. That been over.
Especially if you're signed to a label, you can't control your release dates or when things get released. Also, musicians don't make a lot of money in the music industry. That's why you see a lot of people, they have brand deals and brand sponsorships. That's where the coin comes from in touring. But like music itself, you're actually losing money. I learned this because I would produce Systemized records. Producers outside will get paid a huge lump sum, but because I would produce Systemized records, I couldn't get paid because I was the producer within the group. I don't know if it changed within Grammys, but you know, like how they have producer of the year. I learned it from Imogene Heap because, you know, she produces a lot of her stuff. So does Grimes. So does Bjork. They couldn't be contenders for producer of the year because they were the ones producing their own bodies of work and not for others.
That's stupid.
And notice how those are just the women I named.
They sign you $3 million, 5 albums. But your album term might say you can't drop an album for 9 to 12 months. So if we do the math,
that's some years.
That's years, 4 years, 4 or 5 years, maybe even 6 years, because the average artist ain't just finna drop no album exactly on the 9 months. So it's still gonna be a stretch. You're creating, and then while that's going on, they still gotta spend the money into you. So it's doubling down. So it's like most artists, you don't see no check from the label, but the one that you sign.
Rap ain't where it used to be. Sales ain't selling no more. Fucking, like, motherfuckers is not buying tickets like that no more to come to them concerts. Like, you feel me? The economy fucked up. Like, what? And these people want you to hold music? This shit fucked up out here. I do rap. If you go on the DSPs like Apple Music, Spotify, all of those places, and you look at where my projects is listed under, like what genre they listed under, they all listed under hip hop and rap. I got a solid fan base. And that's the thing too, like, I won't lie, y'all. Like, that's another thing I'll tell y'all. Like, the economy is so fucked up that, like, it's so many people going out on tour in October. I gotta see if I'm even able to go out on tour in October, like, you feel me? Or whenever we supposed to go out. Like, I gotta see, cause this shit fucked up out here. Like, everybody don't got it right now. You heard? Everybody don't got it.
Guys over here eating McDonald's apple pies.
I want to be able to, you know what I mean? Like, but y'all got my word. Like, when I do go out on tour, I'm going to put my tickets as low as I can for y'all. That way it's fair for y'all and fair for me. You know, fair for everybody that got it. But I'm going to put my tickets as low as I can for y'all because I know how the economy is. All right? Shit ain't the best right now. Everybody don't got it.
Listen, if you do a quick Google search, you will see most musicians that were supposed to go out on tour had to cancel their tour. We talking about Taylor Swift, Sexy Red. We talking about Lauryn Hill. Pretty much everybody that was supposed to go out on tour, we seen them have to cancel dates or cancel the whole entire thing. That's because people not buying tickets. People really got to spend money on themselves. They don't got no additional money to spend on wants or things that's not deemed necessary right now or essential. Remember, we learned that word during the pandemic, essential. Going to a concert, not essential. So what is that doing right now? It's taking a toll on these artists. They already really don't get paid off of streaming. They really don't see no real check for it. Drake Ben said that. He don't care about how many streams he do, how many records he sell, because he's not seeing a check anyway for it, right? They're not getting that. Now when they can't go out on the road, they're really not making no money.
In a way,
other than doing features and getting sponsorships, getting endorsements. So what's really happening to the music industry right now is it was at its hiatus, really. And now we going towards the decline. We're going towards hard times. The music industry, film industry,
I don't think he said
the whole
used
nine.
the word hiatus.
I'm gonna tell you where the labels went wrong. When they stopped doing artist development, they used to develop artists.
Yeah,
you could peep good talent and develop them into a worldwide viral sensation.
Yeah,
nowadays they just chase numbers. Anybody that got a nice amount of views on a song, they will sign them.
But that's what I'm saying. The business has changed, and aren't the record labels doing better now than any time in their history? So if you look at it from their perspective, what they're doing is correct, is right, is working, right? It's just not working for artists. Artists, that's your business. That's probably one of the biggest problems. Artists suck at business, like suck. Musicians suck at business, like they suck. They don't know about it. They don't learn about it. They don't know how to do it correctly. They may think that they know, but they, like where there's these other people that get into like music business and they're actual business types and they could run other businesses that are not in the music business because they just run a business, they're just that type of thing. And it's just tough. It's just really tough. It's just tough. And the thing about COVID, COVID exploded a lot of business, specifically, obviously, live. right? That just exploded. That's like 99% of what I do, right? Has been always just being a live musician. And that fully exploded, fully, just totally destroyed. And, you know, if you don't do this, you're not coming back type of thing. And I was in California, so there's that. It was out of control. And I was like, all right, well, if it's not coming back, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And I don't think I've been back, right? I've been back to California to do gigs and different things like that and talked with friends that are out there. And it's like, it's not the same. It doesn't seem like it's the same or back. So I'm just like, you know, a lot of people were like, it's a good thing you left. There's less and everything is way more expensive. California already was super expensive, you know, all that kind of stuff. Shit's hard. But a lot of people, you know, the people that I knew that were into streaming, that owned their stuff or that had better deals, started doing a lot better, actually, because people were staying home. They were streaming. They were consuming content like crazy because they're just home. They did really well. So it's not all areas. That's the thing. It's like when things shift in the economy, some things do better and other things do worse. That's just what it is.
They will throw the bag at them. And really, you just got to get over 100,000 plays. And really, they throwing deals at you. If every song got about 100K, they're going to offer you a deal. But these people can't get people to come to the concerts. They have no real substance in their music. So it's not impactful. It's not touching the people. Nothing. And nowadays, an artist can sound like another artist, and that's cool. Back in the day, you couldn't have two Tupacs.
Also, here's the thing. You can have 100,000 plays on streaming, on all that kind of thing, but it's not the same as previous time where it's like you're doing things locally. You're doing things locally. You put stuff on the internet. I got people all around the world watching videos. But if I go to one place, there may not be that many people in that one place that have watched my videos. You know, they may be more you know, where if you were a band and you were a local band, you would play your local market and then branch out from there. Go to, you know, your other sub-local markets or the next closest market, stuff like that. You would just travel, right? If you were in Boston, you would play in Boston. You would play all over New England. You would go down to New York City. You would, you know, and then you would just stretch further, maybe down the East Coast, et cetera, right? So it's like, but that's not this. This is, you put it on the internet and you got 100,000 streams, but you can't just go to a city and expect to do well because you have 100,000 streams. Half of those streams could be in South America.
You got a Pac. We don't need another Pac. We already got a Eminem. We don't need another Eminem. We already got Lil Wayne. We don't need a bootleg version of Lil Wayne. But nowadays, that's acceptable. Everybody really sound the same. They're talking about the same things. Their lyrics are the same. Everybody talking about killing, you know, violence, toxicity, dissing each other. The women talking about how they don't need a man and how they using a man. Really, that's broke people music. People that got something going for themselves.
I feel like that's been music for a while, though. I mean, honestly, like specifically in like rap and hip hop, that's been that for that's not new. That's not new at all.
Really don't care about none of that. They're not worried about other people. They worried about themselves. This music is really about other people. It's just terrible music that has no longevity. You're not going to hear none of this music being played 20 years from now. Not even 10 years from now. None of these songs that came out recently, in the recent years, would be considered classics. Nobody going to turn this on and be like, hey, remember this song? This was a classic.
The people that grew up with those songs might. Where they were in their formative years, their teenage years, maybe they might, because you can even see like that happens. Music that was coming out in 2000s, some of that was okay, some of that wasn't. How are those kids, right? Those people that are 30 now, approaching 30, they hear that stuff. It's like, yeah, this is like, you know, oh yeah, I remember that, because that's what music does. Right? It's like, especially when you're in those years. That's why all the boomers or whatever, 70s, right? They're like super into like that music because it's like they were growing up in that. They were growing up in that. So it's just, that's, I don't know. There's something natural or something about that to me. because that's just how I see it. So I think that the younger people who are growing up with this music now are gonna, when it comes back on, it's gonna remind them of the time when they were younger, and oh yeah, I remember. You know, it's gonna put them in that place again. Music does that. It does that to everybody. So I think it probably will do that. I'm not saying that you may look back at it no different than like people look back at like 80s music, like hair bands and stuff, and they're like, oh God, yeah, I used to be into that. But it's really not that great. Anyways.
That's where they went wrong. They're signing mediocre acts and expecting them to be long-term sensations, expecting them to become legends. They won't be. Nowadays, these artists die and nobody care about them the next day. Nobody talking about them next day. Oh, on to the next one. There you have it. That's my spiel. If you are a musician.
All right. It's like that for anybody anyways. You know, the younger generation, do they know who Frank Sinatra is? And let's not even go back further. Do they know who Duke Ellington is? You know, let's not go back any further. You know, like, that's just what it is. How many classical composers were there? And how many do people actually know? Beethoven, Mozart, Bach. It's like, in time, you know, there's that famous Frank Zappa clip interview where he's talking about, you know, when he's dead, he doesn't care about any of it because when he's dead, it's gone, it's over. His like legacy and that type of stuff doesn't matter because it's just like, I'm gonna be gone, you know, like people aren't gonna remember me. You think people are gonna remember? Like it's just not that. Yeah, it's just not that. If you want to be remembered, help the most amount of people. And to me, music isn't in that massive realm. That massive realm. That's rare, at least. It's like, that's rare. It's really, really, really rare. Someone like Elon Musk would probably be remembered because look at how many people he's helping. He's helping through his businesses, whether it's his cars, his batteries, right now, Starlink in Asheville, all that kind of thing, and around the world. That's massive. That's massive. Helping so many millions of people. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. When you impact people's lives like that, that's what's going to be remembered. That's what's going to keep your name remembered. Anyways.
Just stay independent. You don't need a deal. Independence is the way to longevity. It's the way that you can have a catalog and get paid for it for eternity. Your catalog is your retirement plan. You want to make sure you own all of your masters. You have 100% creative control. You can make what you want and you can get paid off of it. Why take 12 to 18% when you can keep 100%? Learn to book your own shows. If not, get you a booking agency. Learn to record your own music. You can get a program like Logic. You can get Pro Tools. It don't cost much to build a home studio these days. You really don't need a label. You can do everything off the strength and you will benefit from it long term. It'll be worth it. You might not be at the BET Awards. You're not going to get into certain doors without doing certain things. And you may not have the same amount of streams as another artist that is signed, right? You might not be on the same platforms as them. I know a guy who's a millionaire off the music industry and y'all never heard of him before. But I'm going to just say that, man. I appreciate everybody watching. It's YT Wake 'em Up. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's accurate. There's a lot of people. There's so many people and there's so many ways. I mean, yeah, I know those people also. You know, I know probably my own different set of people than this guy knows that have done really well in the music industry, and people don't know who the hell they are. It doesn't matter if people know who you are. Like that, you know, in that kind of way, it's like if you're doing well, if depending on what you're doing, you just need enough people to know, right? They talk about like 1,000 true fans and things like that. It's like if you can survive and thrive even with 1,000 people, who cares? All the rest is just ego. I need people to know who I am type of thing. That's ego. That's ego. That's you wanting something from other people. That's not you helping other people or providing value or a service to other people. That's you wanting something from other people. You need to be able to deliver a service or value to people in order for them to, you know, it's all of that. It's all of that. And that's something that, you know, for me has made me at least step back and pause a bit about music in terms of, you know, selfishness, you know, it being selfish. Is it really for people like I know that it's super touchy and delicate and all that kind of thing, because, you know, it's not like music doesn't matter to me. Music matters to me. It always has mattered to me, and it matters to other people, right? It matters to humanity. It matters, all that kind of thing. But a lot of times with artists and groups, when you're just in your room writing a song, are you writing a song for other people? Or are you writing a song for yourself and you hope other people like it? You want other people to like it. No different than you just want other people to like you. Just all these, there's just so much. I don't have the vocabulary or the mental capacity to convey all of the depth that is this conversation. At least how I perceive it. I just don't, but I've been in it long enough, and I have all these feelings, and they've changed throughout the years, right? Because that's what happens. You get more experiences and you see things differently and you grow, hopefully, right? And I look at myself, you know, however many years ago, and I cringe, you know, and hopefully that continues, because that to me just means that I'm growing. You know, I'm not the same as I was years ago. And I think that's a good thing, right? I think that's a good thing. You should want to grow, to continue to expand and all that kind of thing. Anyways, this was an interesting video. This is an interesting video. Hopefully I added to it. I think I did, you know, my own perspective on some of these topics, some of these specific things that they're talking about. Some of these clips I liked better than others, for sure. Then Master P came out, you know, just people like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. And these other just artists, right, that hearing their perspective, that's always great. You know, that's huge. You have to hear that from people that are in the game, that people have had experience in it because they have the experience. And everybody's got different experiences in it. There's all types of levels and ways around it. It's wild. So there it is. Celebrities are going broke. Downfall of the music industry. Again. Downfall of the music industry, Napster. Again. You know, downfall of the music industry, you know, the bootlegs. Again. Scalping. Again. Right? All of it. Yeah, man. Ticket prices were cheaper when all that scalping was going on. Does scalping still go on? I'm sure it does. I'm sure it does. I just remember, you know, when I was younger and like in the 90s, it's like scalping, like into the 2000s, scalping, you know, all these scalpers and these tickets and stuff like that. It's like ticket prices were cheaper back then. Now it's like Ticketmaster is scalping themselves. Like, yo, Live Nation is scalping themselves and then selling it to you as the end. It's like, Jesus, $500 for one ticket? Go fuck yourself. I don't need to, I don't care who this is. Also, you know, this is why like music festivals are a better deal. Music festivals are way a better deal. I mean, went to Coachella a few times. That's a way better deal. You're paying up, but you're seeing a ton of artists, a ton of music. To me, that's a way better value. And it's an experience. It's a way better value than just a single concert ticket where you're seeing 1, 2, 3 acts, you know? Anyways, all right, there it is. Music business. Music's not going anywhere. It's always going to be around. People are always going to make music. People will find ways to monetize. You got to be creative. You got to figure it out yourself. And you got to do what's best for your business, which is if you're a musician, if you're an artist, that's you. Anyways, there it is. All right. Thank you guys. I'll catch you in the next video.